is a huge industry. And today in the studios, we have two gentlemen to do justice to it. Coming from Maison Yusuf Perfume. They are all here in their glory and in their honor. And we're talking all that we need to talk about perfume. Today we'll delve into the potential of exporting Ghanaian fragrances to international markets. The fragrance industry, with its growing global demand for unique, sustainable, and high-quality products, presents a promising opportunity for Ghana to diversify its export portfolio. Today's conversation will highlight the exceptional qualities of Ghanaian-made perfumes, oils, and scented products derived from indigenous flowers, herbs, and plants, blending tradition with modern appeal and the growing demand for eco-friendly and culturally meaningful luxury products. Osman Baidawi, General Manager, is here, and then also Yusuf Junior himself is also seated here. Big men. Big men by all standards. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It's good to have you. I mean, first of all, it's been a while we've been looking for you. So to finally have you in the studio is good to do this conversation. Let's start from the very beginning. You could have done anything. Why perfumes? Why fragrances?
I think I was fated to do this.
You were born to do it.
I think so, because from childhood I've had a very sensitive sense of smell.
Okay.
So one way or the other, I chased other things like football and whatnot, but fate drew me back to perfumery.
Oh, wow.
That's what I can say here.
In terms of you, so it's one thing to say, I love perfumes growing up. Then it's one thing to say, this is business. We're going to turn this into a business. When did you see the potential of this as a business?
I think that was after 2017 when I completed uni, and I had quit football then. So I was trying to go into entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And I needed to delve into something that I was passionate about.
Okay.
I didn't just want to do anything or everything. I wanted to do something that I could be recognized with. So I tried to sell other products like clothes,
okay,
other branded perfumes, sneakers, other stuff. But each time that I would go to sell a product to someone, the person ends up wanting to know what fragrance I was wearing. Which then was the creation I was doing.
Oh.
By myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I hadn't brought them out yet because I wasn't too confident about them back then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Yes.
So what qualification makes a person fit to say, I'm going to do some concoction, I'm going to do some mixtures in my house and then begin to wear them? I mean, it's just, maybe that's why you're saying fit.
Yeah.
Because what qualified you to want to do that?
So, back in like 2011, 2012, I went to Cote d'Ivoire to play football.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where I started learning the craft of perfumery.
Oh, okay.
But I never took it serious as in something that I wanted to do. I was just doing it so I could get a plate of food at the end of the day. But when life kicked in, I realized that I still had it in my head and hand, so I went into it.
Oh, interesting. And so the first few perfumes you were producing were foreign or what? How were you mixing them? You were using local? Because
No.
Mm-hmm.
So thing is, it's one of the problems we face here.
Great.
In West Africa, we do not have the companies that are doing the extractions, or we call them aroma companies that produce these raw materials. We don't have them. Or let me just say Africa in general. So we end up importing these raw materials to use for perfume making.
Oh, interesting. Before we come to Osman, I want to find out. So run us through what process starts from plant to that thing in the bottle. How is perfumes made? That's what I'm trying to find out.
It depends on what kind of fragrance you're creating.
Please educate us.
Teach
us.
That would cost money. I I can just take you through the surface.
Please do.
It depends on what kind of fragrance you're creating, what carrier you're using to create that fragrance. It could either be an oil-based fragrance, or you're using ethanol, perfume grain alcohol, for your perfume making. So whatever you're using, they all have their specific methods, specific formulas. So let's say you're creating a fragrance with an alcohol base. You have to do your permutation. You have to arrange your accords, draw your formula. Then you can get to the board. So that is mostly the most difficult part of it. The mixing is not difficult. Everyone can sit down with. I can put you in the lab and say, these are top notes, here are heart notes, here are raise notes. Put something together. But it's the formula.
There's a science to this.
Not entirely, but you need to know the alchemy part of it. That is to know what works with what amount of what must be put in what amount of this must be diluted to work with this.
Interesting.
So in perfumery, to start perfumery, you go through something called an olfaction training. That is training your nose, and brain. You connect the nose and the brain together. That course is supposed to teach you the core of perfumery and supposed to teach you the art of closing your eyes and putting two scents together to know what it will smell like. Even without the raw materials. So you memorize over 800 raw materials up here in olfaction training.
So you would walk into a typical place and you are the only one smelling so many different things.
Only one. You know, when humans evolved on Earth, humans wanted to dominate. So humans found a way to detach themselves from anything that had to do with animal features.
Of course.
Animals use their nose for everything. In that case, humans derived a way to use other things like their brain, eye, mouth, hands, instead of using nose for everything. This killed our sense of smell. The things we eat, the things we apply, the things we encounter, the synthetic stuff we surround ourselves with, it kills our sense of smell. And because we use our brain more, we don't rely on the nose. So the nose kind of like isn't being used to its full function like animals. So going through an olfaction training, it's like to revive that in you. So when you walk into a space, you smell everything when that thing is active now. So in olfaction training, that is what you are being taught.
Wow. I mean, I could imagine living a life like that where everybody's happy and smiling and you are smelling something like this terrible. And you are the only person saying terrible. And so what? You get your friends and stuff, you don't irritate them when you're saying this is smelling like, they smell it. It's fine.
I think Osman can say that.
Osman, how is it like working with him?
Well, it's very interesting. I also say it's also very difficult because we excuse me to say, I think he has a dog nose. So wherever we get to, he begins to smell a lot of things. And I think I've also learned to
you're also not smelling.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's an instinct that we killed. So you're saying that training then revives that instinct.
Absolutely. Wow. Absolutely. So going through that training sets you up as a perfumer. That way, if you look at your fragrance palette, you see an ingredient and other ones in your brain, whatever you are going to create, you know what you need. You know what naturals you will need. You know what fixative you need. You know what aroma chemical you will need, etc. That is it. So when I have every single day people contact me, I want to learn perfumery. My answer straight to them is, you are not ready.
Oh, you must be a certain kind of person before you even qualify.
You need to have a nose. I'm the only Ghanaian, only West African who's ever passed the olfaction training course at the International Fragrance Foundation in France.
Oh, there is even an international fragrance foundation.
Since its establishment in 1997, I'm the first West African to ever pass it with a distinction.
Oh, that changes the conversation to another level altogether. So you're saying it is not something you can teach us?
No, you could be taught, but it might be bogus because you don't have the nose.
How do I train the nose?
I think it's something that comes from within.
Yeah.
You meet there are people born with olfaction defects. People suffer from anosmia, etc. There are people who smell opposite. No matter how good a thing smells, their brain perceives bad.
Okay.
There are people who smell things temporarily and they don't smell it again. 35% of humans have that. There is a difference between that. That is a defect, and there's a difference between that and an olfactory fatigue. Olfaction fatigue is like when you encounter something and your nose registers the scent up your mind and stops your nose from smelling it just so you don't get tired of it.
Okay.
That is olfactory fatigue.
Okay.
That is different. Other people suffer from I don't know how to call it. It's a sensory deformity. When they smell a thing right now, they don't smell it again. So when they use a fragrance right now, the next minute they put their nose to it, they don't smell it.
Meanwhile, it's there. Everybody else smells it.
It's there, and they hit you back and say the fragrance does not last long. But everyone else smells it.
Wow.
And there are people who have sensitive olfactory systems, olfactory nerves, cortex. They smell a thing and they begin sneezing.
Oh, they say they have allergies.
Yeah, it's not an allergy.
Yeah.
It's I've forgotten the term used for it, but I think your guy just raised his hand. He's one of them.
Yeah, everything makes him.
Yeah.
Don't worry. He's like that. So now we understand the vast, complicated, and very sophisticated world of perfumery. Let's bring the Ghanaians into the conversation. Over the years, what was it like for our people? I mean, did we develop with perfumes, or it's a very modern thing? I was going to ask a very crazy question. Anyway, I'm paid to do that. Did Yas and the rest wear perfumes?
Perfumery originated from the Asian Egypt and Mesopotamia.
Yeah.
Their impression of fragrance, perfumery, was different. They didn't used to use alcohol to make fragrance. They used oil. They used stuff like whale fat, etc., to make fragrance. And the Europeans heard about that discovery. They got into it and they snatched it. And alchemists,
they are good at snatching stuff.
And alchemists created C2H5OH, that is alcohol, ethanol.
Yeah.
And they started fusing that with perfumery. And they overtook the world with it. So perfumery actually started from Africa, Egypt.
Okay.
Africa.
And if our people migrated from that part of the world, then definitely they came down with those stuff. Is that what we're saying? Are we saying pre-colonial Ghana had perfumes?
I don't know how to answer that, but I don't know if pre-colonial Ghana had connections with Egypt.
Okay. The Ghana said they migrated from.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the Ghana said.
I think historians can answer that well.
Yes. Well, I think most of the ethnic groups who live within the sub-Saharan Africa, like the Fulanis, the Hausas, most of them migrated from Egypt.
Yeah.
And I think I know that the Fulanis, they were also into perfumery. They had something in Hausa they call Tularon Wuta. I think they cut some trees. They tried to burn it. Even, in perfumery, we have wood. The wood is, we get the wood from some of the expensive wood in the world. We have Cambodian wood and all that. So, most of them got wood. They they cut them into pieces, then they bend them. We call it tolarumuta in Hausa. I don't know how.
Okay.
I think yeah.
Yeah, so they had understanding of
Yes.
fragrances even way back then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is there a Ghanaianness to what you're doing?
A what?
Ghanaianness.
Absolutely. Everything about Maison Youssef is we are representing Ghana. Each and everything on our packages. When you smell our fragrance, one way or the other, if you follow our story, each and every explanation to a fragrance, inspiration to a fragrance, leads you back to the motherland, Ghana. We are proud, how do we call it?
Proudly made in Ghana.
Proudly made in Ghana. And we make sure we show that and we speak that everywhere we go.
When you say you're proudly made in Ghana, is that to say that the indigenous Ghanaian flowers, herbs, plants are part of what you do to make it stand out? Or
Absolutely. Absolutely. But then again,
so what? You are a biologist now. Are you walking through the town looking for leaves?
No, no, that is not my work. You see, in the perfume industry, everyone has their work.
Great.
A perfumer's work is not to be the one to do the extraction.
Okay.
The ones to do the extractions are wherever they are, in the fields where they collect those ingredients. That is their work. They extract and they sell, maybe to the alchemist, then they filter it. If they want to make out the synthetic part of it, pick out the aroma chemical part of it, keep it as a natural, they do it. Then they sell it to us, the perfumers, who make them into perfume. So everyone has their work. You cannot do everything.
Of course. Okay.
Yeah.
So you are the mixologist.
Yes.
You are not the alcohol guy who extracts. You are not the guy who...
No, I'm not the farmer.
You are not the farmer.
So I'm not the farmer. The farmer sells to the extractionist. The extractionist sells to the alchemy. The alchemy sells to the perfumer. The perfumer makes the fragrance.
Fantastic. So now you know, listeners, we're learning. This is what it is all about. So what has been the story of your fragrance then from when you now realize that this is what I'm going to do and then becoming an international brand? First of all, our listeners are always being given advice on how to start businesses, how to do this and that, which is why we bring great minds like yours here. When you wanted to make it a business, what were the steps that you went through? I mean, was it a 1 month thing in your room and then it grew, you brought in some, how did you go about starting this into a full-fledged business?
You know, there are days where people come on air and they tell you, I did this and that.
I got one egg and from the egg I got a poultry farm.
There is really, truly, there is no step I'm going to tell you. There is no step to tell because it was, the only thing I know is I was meticulous. I had a plan up my head. I'm sorry, that was a lie. I had no plan up my head. I just wanted to be successful in what I was doing with no plan. I had a big brother who supported me. I had friends who were like this together. And one way or the other, I don't think I was lucky or something. I know that God did what he did. And Maison Youssef got to where it is now. But if I tell you it was my hard work and I worked so hard to get to where I was and there was sleepless nights, it's a lie. I slept very well.
Okay, so you see, one of the things we keep saying here is everybody's story is different, right? Write your own story. What were the early days like? First perfume going out and all that. What were the early days like when you started?
Early days, so...
He was there from day one?
Oh, yeah, he was.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
He's been around. We started from 2018-19, me and him. Officially, the Maison Youssef was registered 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, that is officially. But behind closed doors from 2011. And then we faced big inferiority complex.
You don't look like somebody who has any kind of inferiority complex.
No, not me. We faced
the
the masses.
Okay.
It was crazy, you know. I mean, they say, so long as there are those that knew what was, there would always be those that cannot accept what could be. There would be chaos.
Okay.
People are already used to the foreign-made brands. The Gucci's, the Yves Saint Laurent, the Prada, the Maison Francis Kejans, the, Tom Fords. And then all of a sudden, someone who was a footballer, who was playing football up and down here, comes out and says, he's now a perfumer, he's making fragrance. How can you freaking believe that? And how can you trust his fragrance? This guy's supposed to be playing football, not making perfumery. It doesn't make sense to them. So there was that chaos. And so as part of what I did, I detached my personal self from my business. That is, example, WhatsApp, like my personal WhatsApp. You could post your stuff and get like 200 views, but no single inquiry. And then you ask yourself, do they hate me? Like, don't they believe in me? It's life. We are all victims. We don't actually patronize one another, especially when we know the person. It's hard like that. So, I don't know where that inspiration came from. I had a new number, created a new Instagram page, detached myself from it, and I started growing from there. And then I started getting organic customers. How much? Wow, this is impressive. I would like to try it. We send them samples, they try it. I want to buy a bigger bottle. Then I realized it is actually true. Familiarity complex. When they know you, they cannot relate. It's understandable. Like, I was a footballer. I was a football head. From uni, playing football Monday to Sunday. At home, always wearing boots, playing soccer here and there. All of a sudden, I'm launching a fragrance brand. They don't know about it. They only know about Tom Ford. Who's Maison Youssef? Or we used to call it What You Want. It didn't used to be Maison Youssef. And then we're from this guy. So we did that, and we put ourselves from the inferiority complex because we gave them quality. I think one thing I noticed about Ghanaians or Africans is that it's not really a thing with inferiority complex, though that is there. But if you give them quality with time, it takes time. With time.
Time is what a lot of you don't have. I mean,
it's time. With time, they would realize this guy is beating world standard. They have your package and they compare your package to the stuff they buy over $200, and they notice this is freaking incredible.
Wow. Osman, what were the early days like? Did you trust this was going to work?
Yes. When I think we started, it was an online shop. So then we didn't have a shop. So when we drew all the plan, I told him I think we had to make a conscious effort to be meeting our clients and be taking feedbacks and all that. So I was actually in charge of the logistics. I was doing all the deliveries. I was meeting all the clients, and then I was taking feedback from them. And so at the early days, I think we actually made a conscious effort that we are going to give our clients the best of delivery services. We're going to give them the best of everything that they wanted. So I was actually in charge of the deliveries, as I told you. From 2019 February to, I think, 2022, I personally had met more than over 16,000 clients in Accra alone.
Wow.
That's one-on-one chats.
Trying to convince them that this thing would work.
I go to them with samples. I go to the offices. I go to the ministries. I go to the media houses. I met people. Some of them, they were not so sure that some of them can even ask you in, they say it in local language. And I'm sure, so we, Ghana, then then I told them, yes, it's from Ghana. It's made in Ghana. So I think I met a man. The man was so inquisitive. He told me he wanted to visit our lab. And I think I shared it with my CEO. He came to the lab. You know, the man was just, he was, you know, I don't know whether he even then, he didn't want to believe that, you know, Mason Yusuf fragrance was made in Ghana. And then he checked the lab. He came to our branches. He checked everything. And then I think he was so sure that, you know, a good thing can also come from Ghana.
Interesting.
Yes.
When did you realize you had crossed this very critical place of acceptance?
I think that was about 2022. 2022, when we launched one of our fragrance called Bad Influence.
I'll come to that question. Why you wouldn't give names like that to perfumes? It's like perfume names are like sinful names. We'll come to that.
Yeah.
So you launched a new product,
And no. I think that was What a Time to Be Alive.
Yeah.
How do you call products like that?
So it was What a Time to Be Alive. We did a limited edition of 20 pieces.
Yes.
Was it?
No, 100 pieces.
It was?
100.
I think it was 100 pieces.
Yeah.
And we did a very short promo for it, like a week. And we launched it on the Monday. And what happened on that Monday? What happened on that Monday when we launched What a Time to Be Alive?
Why you even calling it What a Time to Be Alive? What a time to be alive.
We sold out.
That day,
Yeah.
all 100 bottles.
That was What a Time to Be Alive.
Yes.
The one with the glass bottle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember.
And we sold out all pieces same day. And that was
Relatively, were they very expensive?
affordable.
And they all went just like that.
Yeah. And that is when we actually sat at the end of the day and we said, nah.
Now this thing is serious.
Now the acceptance is grand. So we need to work harder to convince the rest of the people. But we noticed in business, there is really no convincing. You cannot convince someone who doesn't want to be convinced.
Okay.
You can only do your best. So we kept hitting the right buttons, and alhamdulillah, today we can stand firmly and say we are one of the biggest fragrance houses in Africa, with other brother companies as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is the staff strength now like compared to then? I mean, as a business, at the time when you launched What a Time to Be Alive. I can call it a thing. What a Time to Be Alive. At the time you launched What a Time to Be Alive, what was the staff strength and what is it now?
What is the meaning of staff strength?
So when we started, should I even say two of us?
Yeah, just 3 plus Dorcas.
Yeah, plus
Okay,
Dorcas.
so you were 3 then.
Yes,
three.
yes, yeah.
And how many are you now?
Now
I don't know. He will count.
Now we have
about 20, I think.
Yeah, he's counting. His mind is racing.
yes, we should have close to 25 staff now.
Wow.
Because we have
all
4
on
branches
payroll
in Ghana.
Wow.
We have the Kokomlemle branch, the East Legon. We have the Asuka branch. We have the Kumasi Airport branch. So in all the branches, we also have marketing team. So all of them would amount to 25 people.
Wow. Yeah. Talking of marketing, what goes into marketing a business like yours?
Too much.
Because of
too much. Social media marketing alone. Last week we were in Kumasi and I was speaking with one of my brothers. He's the CEO for Scent and Spice by XG or something. Scent and Spice on Instagram. He also sells oil perfumes, one of the best quality oil perfumes. And I was speaking with him and I was telling him the only way is to keep punching the right buttons. And he asked me, what is the meaning of that? I said, invest in everything you can come across in advertisements. When we started, we could run a social media promo and we won't get a single order from it. And the team would be worried. I'm spending too much in this but response does not come. But with time, he noticed. What did you notice about that one?
Yeah, the response comes later.
It comes later. It doesn't come today. That is what I was talking about with the convincing. Some people see it today. They say, what is this? They skip. They see it another time. Oh, I saw their ad the last time. Oh, okay. This is a nice ad. Nice. They skip. They see it another time. Oh, what do? He taps your profile. They sell perfumes. Perfumes we cry original. So Ghana for you. He skips. Another time he sees it. He sees something interesting. Oh, wow. Made in Ghana. They are honoring this figure. Let me stop by their store and check it out someday. He comes by, and that is where we steal you. The moment you walk into our maison, you never leave the same person. No matter what you are, when you smell our work. No, trust me, it's not a... So when people speak with us, how good are your fragrance? We say, we don't talk much. We show working.
Wow.
It's a thing with the senses. Come and smell. It's not a sneaker. It's not a sunglass or a shirt where you see it and say, it's beautiful, I want it. Fragrance, you need to smell it to know if you want it or not. And when you come, we have all categories of fragrance in our store. We just launched 9 new fragrances in October 27th, which made us the first African niche fragrance brand in the world to ever launch 9 fragrances in a day.
What goes into the names people give to fragrances? Seduction, envy, wickedness, lust, gluttony. I don't know. They give funny names. Who chooses the names at UCF?
Osman, who chooses the names?
Osman, who chooses the names? We are asking.
Names is actually sometimes it's an inspiration, and then it also depends on, fragrances, you put them together. It's an art. So if you want to put a certain scent together to replicate something, so that's when you get an inspiration for the name.
Okay.
So say...
let's use the ones that were just launched.
Yes, we
the
have one.
What are their names?
Yes, so there's one called
Black
the
Excellence.
Okay.
Now let me even talk about the Voyager.
Now we're going to go into the names.
Yes, so...
Wow.
So the Voyager, my CEO actually has a lot of interest in...
He likes traveling.
Traveling and, this space exploration stuff. So then...
the Voyager.
Yeah, the Voyager.
Oh, okay.
So the Voyager is the first space probe.
Yeah, space probe.
That was launched in 1977. It's still flying, I think, in the space up to
trillions of miles away.
Yeah. So the ingredients that he put together, the ingredients are very strong. It travels so fast. The moment you spray it, you can perceive it when you are not even closer. So hence,
for instance,
yes.
Yeah, DJ Pitway. DJ
I want to
Pitway.
spray it right here,
Yes.
and I want to spread it across.
Just changed. So viewers, you can see if you're watching a stream live on Facebook, he just changed the whole. Oh wow!
Yes.
It just hits you.
Yes.
It just did.
So it hits you. It travels like the Voyager space probe travels. The Voyager space probe, it's called the Voyager 1.
Yeah.
It's the first space probe that traveled out of our solar system.
Yes.
To get us actual footages and images of our solar system,
Yeah.
the exoplanets, the stars, the dwarf stars, the gas giants, etc. So my love for the Voyager 1, then I named this fragrance because this fragrance travels far. If you open this door, it will captivate the whole place.
What the?
So that is the inspiration for that.
Okay. I was going to go into the other names, but something just hit me. One thing that I've also found in the fragrance industry is your packaging. There are packages that look like the torsos of women. There are packages that, of course, I've seen some. I'm still a man of God, but I've seen packages that look like women's torsos. And I'm using a very good word to torso. I would have said something else. What goes into the boxing? And is this done here in Ghana?
Most of them are done here. Yes.
So you decided that it will look this way, not this way.
Yeah, that's the art. That's why it's called art. That's the art. I sat down. I, being the head of creative teams at Maison Youssef, I draw everything. I put everything together with the help of my team, confirming whatever I'm doing. What do you think about this? I think if we change this, we put this here, it's good. So, like, this is one of our fragrance. And on all our packages, you see it's written, proudly made in Ghana. Proudly made in Ghana. This is one of our perfumes. It's called the Apex.
Oh my. Okay.
So you know the meaning of a Apex is something that is
the height of
the highest height of everything. So this fragrance at the time when we launched it was the highest height of all the fragrance we were going to launch, and was supposed to be the highest height of all fragrance on the continent Africa. And this is one of the fragrances called If Sex Was a Perfume. It was launched just on the 27th of October.
Told you they have names like that.
Yeah.
Sex and all that.
So this is called Sex, but the full name is If Sex Was a Perfume. So this fragrance is supposed to represent the passion driven behind sex, the beauty of sex, etc. What sex is supposed to smell like.
If Sex Was a Perfume.
Yes.
That's the name of the brand.
That's the name of the perfume.
The perfume.
Yeah.
If Sex Was a Perfume.
If Sex Was a Perfume. And then we have a lot other. We have the Deja Vu. We have the Black Excellence. We have the Voyager. We have Supernova. We have El Patron. El Patron, which is inspired by the late flight Jerry John Rollins. We have the Empress, inspired by my mother and my wife, and any strong woman, any woman on earth. And then we have the Take Me to Paris, and we have the Bad Influence, we have the Vatican, we have So Much Fun, we have Deeper Than Words, we have Another Face of Oud, we have the Apex, we have the Scent of a Queen, we have Vatican. And now we have 18 fragrances on our palette. We have Oud Strong, we have Leather to Excellence, etc., etc. There are a bunch. So when you visit our store, you get to have a wide variety of fragrance to smell.
Mind-blowing stuff. I mean, absolutely mind-blowing stuff. The biggest word in these days is sustainability. Everywhere you go, they say sustainability, sustainability, sustainability. Is that a word that rings in your atmosphere, in your sphere of thinking? Like sustainable fragrancing in terms of where it is sourced and whether it is environmentally friendly. Do those things really bother you? Do they come in your conversations at all? Osman?
Sustainability.
Yeah.
I think you need to explain the...
Yeah, because the reason I'm asking this is this. The reason I'm asking this is, so even chocolatiers sitting in France are being called out because someone who sourced the cocoa used child labor. And so the UN picks on it and say, you can be linked sitting in Switzerland, but hey, the guys, is that something that comes in your chain of, or okay, so to put it bluntly, do you have any idea those who cultivate the plants that end up on your desk?
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I think one of the big brands recently, designer brands, had a problem. So in I think it was Morocco or something.
Okay.
But that is where they source one of, I've forgotten the exact plant or flower it was. But it's like a family business.
Okay.
And the kids do it, the adults do it, the parents or the family do it. They harvest the flowers and whatnot. And someone got footages of those and said the kits are being used for child labor, as you just said, and blah, blah, blah. So this brand is encouraging child labor. But truth behind it is that the brand might not even know. Because as I told you in the beginning,
everybody and what they do.
Everybody and what they do. You sell food. You go to Accra, to buy your basmati rice. And you're selling your rice and you see yourself on the internet, someone saying you're encouraging child labor because someone in Ethiopia who's growing the basmati rice in Ethiopia, has children, harvest them, and now it's on you. When you didn't even have an idea. As I told you, the farmers are different. Now these are the farmers. They get the stuff, they push it to the alchemists. The alchemists do their stuff, they sell it to the perfumers. And then the perfumers do their stuff. So
I'm happy you brought this up because the parallel story in the cocoa industry, the guys actually also came back and said, listen, if I'm a cocoa farmer and my kids are on vacation and I actually take them to the farm and you took a picture and put it out there and said child labor, you're absolutely wrong. And I think that was Cote d'Ivoire or something. They came to say that, listen, they are not child labor. These are my kids and they're on vacation.
They're learning the job.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when we were growing up, we went to village and went to farm with our parents and all that. So that now let's come to the issues of regulation in Ghana. Who, GSA, FDA, or who? I mean, tell us.
Both.
Okay.
You go through GSA first. They do the sample testing of the fragrance you're going to launch. They thoroughly.
I can imagine. Yesterday they were in the studios.
Yeah, thoroughly go through it. There are no jokes. They are not playing out there. They thoroughly go through each fragrance, and then they pass you, and then you take it to FDA, and you submit same samples again to FDA with the ingredient listing and whatnot, the name, everything. You submit it to FDA, and FDA also does their thing before they certify and pass it.
Yeah, yesterday they were here and we actually spoke about this thing you just spoke about, which is the dual thing. You go to GSA and I think they are trying to do what they call the harmonization. It came up in the conversation yesterday.
Yeah.
So over the years, you've now sent Ghana out there. In terms of tourism, Ghana is now becoming a big attraction to the world. How is this playing for your brand in particular?
Okay, I'm not going to take you far. And you see our package?
Oh, wow.
What do you see here?
Okay, the Independence Act is there. Freedom and Justice, AD 1957.
Maison Youssef.
Ghana. Made in Ghana.
Fragrance proudly made in Ghana.
This is you promoting Ghana.
So I'm not promoting Maison Youssef only. I'm promoting Ghana. One thing that I'll sit on this platform and speak about, and I hope word gets out, is made in Ghana products. We have made in Ghana products and we have people representing us made in Ghana products. We are proudly made in Ghana. If we could get 5% of support,
just 5%.
We don't need 10. Trust me. We are doing 200%. We just need 5.
In what form should this support come?
In the form as in, you spoke about tourists. Where do tourists land when they come?
Okay, the airports, they go to the touristic attractions.
When they're leaving the country, where do they go through?
The airport.
Where? To the wise. But you apply, willing to pay with your own money, and you are not given the opportunity to put Ghana out there. But foreign brands would come and will, with ease, they will be given. And you would ask yourself, what is the problem? Are we our own killers? One of my bosses said to me sometime, he said, if you're looking for the most evil person on earth, it's your fellow Ghanaian.
Fellow Ghanaians. That is, he spoke it. I mean, there's nothing like, if I said it right now and added my favorite line, Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana, I'll be in trouble. You heard it from the man himself. He's been there, done that. He's telling you what is happening on the grounds. Very, very, very interesting.
Look, all we need
You said 5%?
Look, 3%. Just give us that push. You know what? We're the government. We're the blah, blah, blah. We love what you're doing. We encourage this. You're solely made in Ghana. Look, we have other brands that are making perfumery in Ghana. I know about Magbansi, made in Ghana. I know about Sanche. I know about one woman, she's not making perfume, but she's doing ambient stuff. Ambient by Talata. I know about...
I know Ambience by Talata.
I know about... Al Kebulan, I don't know, Magbansi told me about him. I never heard about him. Magbansi told me about him, I think 2 days ago. If we could be given the opportunity. Look, you guys, the beauty industry, proudly made in Ghana, come here. This is a part for you. We've given you this. Put your stuff here. When the tourists come and they're going out, we give you the opportunity to interact with them. And you know, these people, when they come into this country, they are not coming to buy Tom Ford.
No, why would they come and buy Tom Ford? It's their home.
It's their home. They're coming to explore Ghana.
Okay.
So why not let us help them do it? But no, you go to the airport and you have your marketing team trying to interact with these people who come out of the arrival, and the security sack you.
That ends it. We just have a few minutes to the top of the hour. Coming up at 10 a.m., NYE, the brand with the brighter side. Osman Baidawi, General Manager, Maison Yusuf Perfume. Any final words?
What I want to add to what my CEO said is that when you look at the cosmetic industry, I think I was reading somewhere and I learned Ghana imports more than $16 billion of cosmetic industry into the country. And you know, we are in times when there's this CD depreciation.
Exactly. Yeah.
We are trying to solve these problems here and there, but I don't know what is wrong with us as Ghanaians that we don't support the local industry. We don't support the local industry. As my CEO said, if governments can give us just 5% support, I think we can get somewhere.
Just 5%?
Really, just 5%. Because right now, since I think for the past 3 years, we've applied to whoever is the head of the airport staff, and we've been chasing. I can't remember, we've drove to airports more than 20 times within a month.
You're sending letters and whatnot.
Sending letters, seeing this one, entering this
They
office.
say,
We just
change
need a
this,
stand at
do
airports.
this, do this. We're begging for a stand. We want to pay.
Just a stand.
We just want a stand. Look, we just want a stand. And you know, recently in August, we're going for a business trip in the UAE. We're going for a business trip. And we got to the airport and we just walked into the do-free store. We just walked into the do-free store and immediately they saw us. The ladies at the fragrance side, they approached us. They already knew us and they started speaking with us. They said, everyone who comes in here is talking about Maison Yusuf. Maison Yusuf. They want Maison Yusuf. Where's Maison Yusuf? So why are you guys not here? We looked at each other and we just smiled.
That's Ghana for you.
But before I go,
yeah,
I want to give a huge thanks to each and everyone who's supporting the brand, each and everyone who's in huge support of Maison Yusuf. We have received so much love, support and patronage from the Ghanaian base, so much that without them, we couldn't have gotten this far. And we believe with them, we can get to the top of the world. I really appreciate each and everyone who's tuned in to listen, who supports, who loves, who patronizes, who refers and everything. We rely on you guys. Without you guys, we cannot do it.
He said it all. His name is Maison Yusuf. He's talking about his brand. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. It's been an absolute pleasure. Coming up is NYE, the brand with the brighter side, like I said. My name is Jerry Ham.